Have you ever noticed that the harder you chase something, the farther it seems to slip from your grasp? Success, happiness, love, they're all right there in front of us, yet the more we obsess over achieving them, the more they seem to elude us. Why is it that the things we want the most often feel just out of reach? As the Zen teaching goes, when you stop caring, results come. It's a paradox, isn't it? We're taught to hustle harder, strive relentlessly, and never give up. But what if the real key to fulfillment isn't holding on tighter, but letting go? Think about it. Have you ever been so focused on controlling every outcome that it left you stressed, frustrated, or worse, completely burnt out? What if all this clinging is actually the reason you feel stuck? Here's the truth most people miss. Attachment doesn't lead to freedom, it leads to suffering. But when you embrace non-attachment, you unlock a power far greater, inner peace, clarity. And ironically, the very results you were chasing begin to flow effortlessly into your life. In this video, we're diving into the life-changing wisdom of Zen and Buddhism. You'll discover how letting go of the need to control everything can lead to unimaginable freedom and joy. By the end, you'll see why surrender isn't about giving up, it's about gaining back your life. So, if you've ever felt trapped by your own expectations, stick around. This might be the one insight that transforms everything. Let's begin. Principle 1. Focus on what you can control. There's a story about a monk who spent years meditating by a serene river. One day, a traveler approached him, complaining about the chaos of life, relationships, work stress, and the constant need to control everything. The monk listened patiently and said, "Do you see how the river flows? It does not care about the rocks in its path. It flows around them. You must be like the river. Focus on what you can control and let go of the rest." This simple wisdom echoes one of life's greatest truths. Freedom begins when we stop holding on to things outside our control. In Buddhist philosophy, this principle is central. The Buddha taught that suffering often arises from clinging to outcomes, people or situations we cannot change. Instead, he encouraged focusing on our actions, our attitudes, and our inner peace. A philosopher captured this insight perfectly when he said, "The chief task in life is to distinguish between what is up to us and what is not." Imagine how much lighter life would feel if we embraced this wisdom fully. Think about the last time you were stressed. Maybe it was a conflict at work where you felt unheard or unappreciated. How much energy did you waste trying to change someone else's behavior or control the outcome of a meeting? Now, ask yourself this. What if you had instead focused on your professionalism, your composure, and your ability to respond with grace? The truth is, when you let go of what doesn't belong to you, you reclaim the power to shape your own destiny. This practice isn't about indifference, it's about clarity. It's not that you stop caring entirely, but you stop caring about things that drain you unnecessarily. Focus instead on the things you can influence, your mindset, your habits, and your responses. Like the river that flows around obstacles, your energy becomes unstoppable when it's not wasted on resistance. Here's how to begin. Identify your sphere of control. Reflect on what is truly within your power. Is it your effort? Your attitude? Start there. Release the rest. Acknowledge the things you can't change, others' opinions, the past, or unpredictable events, and consciously let them go. Redirect your energy. Channel your focus into actions aligned with your values and goals. Ask yourself today, what weight am I carrying that is not mine to hold? In letting go, you free yourself, and in that freedom, results flow naturally, just like the river finding its way to the ocean. Take one step today to let go of an attachment holding you back. 2. Accept life's imperfect. A man once visited a Zen master, lamenting his failures. "I try so hard to make everything perfect," he said, "but nothing ever goes as planned." The master smiled and handed him a cracked teacup. "Drink," he said. The man hesitated. "It's imperfect," he replied. The master nodded. "And yet it holds the tea." This story reflects a profound truth of life. Perfection is not the goal. Acceptance is. In Buddhist philosophy, the root of suffering often lies in our resistance to reality, our demand that life conform to impossible standards. We think, "I'll be happy when everything is perfect," but perfection is a mirage, always out of reach. Consider the Buddha's teaching. When you demand perfection, you invite frustration and suffering. Life is inherently flawed, and that's its beauty. The seasons change, flowers bloom and wither, and even the moon has craters. Yet each moment holds wisdom if we learn to embrace it. Think about the last time something didn't go as planned. Maybe it was a project at work that missed the mark, or a relationship where expectations clashed. How much time did you spend dwelling on what should have been instead of learning from what was? The truth is, when you let go of perfection, you make space for growth. Modern life teaches us to fear mistakes, to see flaws as failures. But Zen wisdom reminds us that cracks are where the light enters. Imagine an artist who cherishes imperfections in their work, who sees beauty in a crooked line or a smudged stroke. Life is no different. It's the imperfect moments that teach us resilience, creativity, and grace. Here's how to embrace imperfection in your life. Shift your perspective. When things don't go as planned, pause. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Mistakes are not barriers, they're stepping stones. Practice self-compassion. Stop punishing yourself for your flaws. Treat yourself with the kindness you'd offer a friend. Progress matters more than perfection. Appreciate the flaws of life. Look for beauty in what's broken or unfinished. Whether it's a chipped cup or an unexpected detour, let it remind you of life's unique charm. Ask yourself, what am I resisting because it's not perfect? When you stop caring about perfection, you unlock freedom. Suddenly, mistakes become opportunities, flaws become teachers, and life becomes richer. The cracked teacup still holds tea, and you, with all your imperfections, are enough. Today, take one step to embrace life as it is, not as you think it should be. 3. Practice mindfulness. There's an old Zen story about a student who asked his master, "What is the secret to a peaceful life?" The master simply handed him a cup of tea and said, "Drink this." As the student drank, his mind wandered, thinking about chores, tasks, and the future. Sensing this, the master gently took the cup away and said, "When you drink tea, just drink tea." This simple exchange holds profound wisdom. Peace is found in the present moment. Yet, how often do we live anywhere but now? Our minds rush to the future, consumed by anxiety over what might happen, or they cling to the past, replaying regrets. In doing so, we miss the only moment we truly have, the present. Buddha taught, the present moment is all we truly have. Dwelling on the past or obsessing over the future creates suffering, because neither can be controlled. But the present, that's where your power lies. Think about a time when you were truly present. Perhaps it was watching a sunset, feeling the warmth of the sun and the cool breeze on your skin. In that moment, you weren't burdened by yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's worries. You were simply there. The beauty of mindfulness is that it grounds us, reminding us that peace isn't found in solving every problem, but in simply being. In today's fast-paced world, mindfulness can feel like a luxury, but it's a necessity. Anxiety about the future or regrets about the past drain our energy, and rob us of joy. Practicing mindfulness doesn't require you to sit in silence for hours. It starts with small moments of awareness. Here's how to practice mindfulness. Start with your breath. Close your eyes and take a deep breath. Feel the air enter your lungs and leave your body. Even a single moment of focused breathing can anchor you. Engage your senses. Whether eating a meal or walking outside, focus on sensory details, the taste, smell, or texture of what surrounds you. Pause and notice. When your mind begins to spiral into worry or regret, gently bring it back. Ask yourself, what's happening right now? Mindfulness isn't about stopping your thoughts. It's about noticing them and choosing to return to the present. Ask yourself today, what beauty am I missing because I'm not paying attention? When you practice mindfulness, you stop caring about the distractions that pull you away from the now. In return, you gain clarity, peace, and presence. Today, take one mindful breath and let it remind you, this moment is enough. Fourth, perspective is everything. There's a Zen parable about a farmer whose horse ran away. His neighbors exclaimed, "What terrible luck!" The farmer calmly replied, "Maybe." The next day the horse returned with a wild stallion. The neighbors cheered, "What great fortune!" Again the farmer said, "Maybe." Later the farmer's son tried to tame the wild horse, fell and broke his leg. The neighbors lamented, "Such misfortune." The farmer simply said, "Maybe." Days later, soldiers came to recruit young men for war, but left the farmer's son because of his injury. The neighbors celebrated, and once again the farmer said, "Maybe." This story illustrates a profound truth. It's not events themselves, but our perspective on them that determines our peace. In Buddhist philosophy, this wisdom is echoed in the teaching. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments of them. Life is full of challenges. Relationships end, careers stumble, plans go astray. When setbacks arise, it's easy to label them as failures, to spiral into frustration and self-pity. But what if, instead of resisting, you reframed these moments? What if every setback became an opportunity to grow, to pivot, to begin anew? Consider a common example, a job rejection. At first, it feels like the door to your dreams has slammed shut. But what if that rejection is steering you toward a better path? Perhaps it's nudging you to discover a passion you've overlooked, or leading you to a position that aligns more deeply with your values. Reframing doesn't deny the pain. It acknowledges it while opening the door to possibility. Here's how you can cultivate this shift in perspective. Pause and reflect. When something goes wrong, resist the urge to react immediately. Ask yourself, what might this situation be teaching me? Find the opportunity. Look beyond the surface. What new possibilities or lessons can emerge from this experience? Let go of labels. Stop categorizing events as good or bad. Trust that even in adversity, there is growth. Buddhist wisdom teaches that our judgments create unnecessary suffering. By shifting our perspective, we reclaim the power to shape our reality. As the Dalai Lama once said, sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. Ask yourself, what challenge in my life can I see differently? When you stop caring about labeling every experience, you create space for transformation. The world becomes less about what happens and more about how you choose to see it. Today, embrace a challenge as an opportunity and watch your life shift in ways you never imagined. Fifth, let go of entitlement. There's a story about a wandering monk who sought shelter during a storm. He approached a grand mansion and asked for refuge, but the owner turned him away. Soaked and cold, the monk found an old broken-down shed nearby and rested there for the night. In the morning, he smiled as he watched the sunrise, its golden rays illuminating the shed's cracks. "Even this humble shelter was more than I deserved," he whispered to himself. This story captures a profound teaching. Life owes us nothing, yet it gives us everything. In Buddhist philosophy, attachment to entitlement is a source of suffering. When we demand that life meet our expectations, that we deserve success, love, or recognition, we set ourselves up for resentment and disappointment. But when we approach life as a gift, even the smallest blessings bring immense joy. Buddha's wisdom reminds us, you are not owed anything by life. All is a gift. Think about how often we fall into the trap of entitlement. We feel we deserve a promotion, yet it goes to someone else. We expect perfect weather on vacation, but it rains. Each unmet expectation breeds frustration. But what if we released the idea of deserving and replaced it with gratitude for what is? Imagine a professional artist who spends months on a masterpiece. They believe it deserves widespread acclaim, but the response is lukewarm. At first, they feel bitterness creeping in, but instead of clinging to that entitlement, they ask themselves, how can I use this experience to grow? By letting go of the belief that they were owed success, they rediscover the joy of creating for its own sake. Here's how to let go of entitlement in your life. Shift from expectation to gratitude. Each day, instead of focusing on what you lack, notice what you already have. Gratitude transforms resentment into peace. Replace "I deserve" with "How can I contribute?" Focus on giving instead of receiving. The question, "How can I serve?" opens doors that entitlement keeps closed. Adapt to outcomes. When life doesn't go your way, pause and adapt. Ask, what can I learn or do differently? Ask yourself, what expectations are holding me back from appreciating the present? When you stop caring about what you think life owes you, you open yourself to its gifts. Each sunrise, each moment of connection, each breath becomes a treasure. Today, release one expectation and embrace what life offers instead. You may find that it's already enough. 6. Accept change. A wise monk once said, "A river never fights the current. It flows, adapting to every bend and obstacle because it knows this truth. Nothing stays the same." This is the essence of impermanence, a central teaching in Buddhist philosophy. Impermanence is the nature of existence, the Buddha taught, and yet we resist this truth, clinging tightly to what was or fearing what might come. Think about the seasons. Summer fades into autumn, which gives way to winter and then spring. We accept this without question. But when life brings its own seasons, when relationships end, careers shift, or circumstances change, we fight against it. We hold on, wishing things could stay as they were. This resistance doesn't stop change. It only creates suffering. Imagine someone whose career suddenly takes a turn. Perhaps their company closes or they're passed over for a promotion. At first, they feel lost, even angry. But what if, instead of resisting, they leaned into change? What if they saw this as an opportunity to explore a new path, one they might never have considered otherwise? Change, while uncomfortable, often brings growth and transformation. Modern life is full of transitions, moving cities, evolving friendships, aging. The more we cling to the past or fear the future, the harder these changes become. But when we accept impermanence, we see the beauty in endings and the possibility in beginnings. A failed relationship, for instance, may hurt deeply, but it also clears space for someone more aligned with who you are becoming. Here's how to embrace change in your life. Acknowledge your resistance. When change happens, notice your feelings. What are you clinging to? Simply recognizing this is the first step. Reframe endings as beginnings. Instead of focusing on what you're losing, ask, what new opportunities might this bring? Stay present. Change feels overwhelming when we project too far into the future. Focus on the now and take one small step forward. Buddhist wisdom teaches us that change is not the enemy. It's the natural flow of life. When you accept impermanence, you release the weight of trying to control the uncontrollable. As the Zen saying goes, when you let go, you create space for what's next. Ask yourself, what change am I resisting that could lead to growth? When you stop caring about keeping things the same, you free yourself to grow, to evolve, and to embrace the unknown. Today, trust the flow of life. Let go of what was and welcome what's to come. 7. Cultivate forgiveness. There's a story of two monks traveling together. At one point, they reached a river with a strong current where a woman stood, hesitant and afraid to cross. One monk offered to carry her across, even though their vows forbade touching a woman. She accepted, and he carried her on his back. Hours later, after they had continued on their journey, the second monk couldn't hold back his frustration. "How could you break your vows like that?" he asked. The first monk simply smiled and replied, "I set her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story embodies a powerful truth. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. When someone wrongs us, it's easy to carry resentment, replaying the hurt in our minds over and over. But the weight of that anger doesn't punish the other person. It punishes us. Think of a betrayal by someone you trusted, a friend who broke your confidence, a partner who wasn't faithful. The initial sting is sharp, but what happens when you keep holding on to that pain? It seeps into every corner of your life, making it hard to trust, hard to love, hard to grow. Forgiveness doesn't mean excusing what happened or letting the other person back into your life. It means releasing your grip on the anger that's holding you hostage. Buddhist teachings emphasize that forgiveness is not for the benefit of the other, it's for your own peace. Letting go creates space for healing and transformation. Consider this: a tree battered by a storm doesn't blame the wind, it adapts, growing stronger roots and branches. Similarly, your pain can become a source of growth if you let it. Here's how to cultivate forgiveness. Acknowledge the hurt, don't suppress or deny your feelings, name them and accept their presence. Shift your focus. Instead of fixating on the wrongdoing, ask, what can this experience teach me about myself? Use the pain to develop empathy, boundaries, and self-respect. Release with compassion. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. Wish the person well, sometimes from a distance, and let them go. The Buddha said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, but only by love." This doesn't mean you must love those who hurt you, but it means releasing the poison of anger to allow love and peace to fill the void. Ask yourself, what grudge am I holding onto that's weighing me down? When you stop caring about keeping score or seeking revenge, you step into freedom. Today, set down one burden of anger. Forgive, not for them, but for yourself. Peace is waiting on the other side. 8. Silence is golden. There is a Zen proverb that says, "Speak only if it improves upon the silence." In its simplicity lies profound wisdom. Imagine a clear, still pond. When undisturbed, it reflects the world perfectly, capturing the sky, the trees, and even the smallest details. But throw a stone into it, and the ripples distort everything. Our words are like stones. When used carelessly, they disrupt harmony, often creating more chaos than clarity. Think about the last time you found yourself in a heated argument, perhaps with a loved one or a colleague. As emotions ran high, you may have said things you later regretted, words that escalated the conflict instead of calming it. In moments of tension, silence can be your greatest ally. It's not weakness, it's strength, a conscious choice to pause, reflect and respond with wisdom rather than impulse. Buddhism teaches us the value of right speech, a principle of the Noble Eightfold Path. It urges us to speak truthfully, kindly, and only when necessary. When you practice this, your words become tools for connection rather than weapons of division. Silence allows you to step back, observe your emotions, and decide whether speaking will bring healing or harm. Imagine a parent frustrated by their child's mistakes. The impulse is to react, to scold, but what if instead they paused in silence? In that space, they might recognize the child's fear or confusion, and their words could shift from anger to guidance. Similarly, in relationships, silence during conflicts can create a moment of understanding, a chance to listen deeply, both to the other person and to yourself. Here's how to practice mindful silence. Pause before you speak. In moments of conflict, take a deep breath. Ask yourself, will my words help or hurt? If you're unsure, it's better to stay silent. Listen more than you talk. Silence isn't just about not speaking, it's about creating space to truly hear others. Listen not only to their words, but to their emotions. Use words as a last resort. Sometimes, silence itself conveys understanding and compassion. When you must speak, choose words that heal, guide, or clarify. The Buddha once said, "Words have the power to destroy and heal." When words are both true and kind, they can change the world. This doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations or suppressing your feelings. It means choosing your moments and words wisely so that your communication fosters growth and resolution rather than conflict. Ask yourself, what could silence teach me in moments of chaos? When you stop caring about the need to always react or be heard, you discover the power of presence. Today, embrace silence in one difficult moment. Let it guide your response and bring clarity where words cannot. In silence, wisdom is born. Love your fate. There is a profound teaching from Buddhist philosophy. Do not wish for events to happen as you desire, but desire them to happen as they do. This is the art of amor fati, loving your fate. Imagine standing in a heavy rainstorm. You can curse the clouds, wish for the sun, and fight against the wetness. Or you can accept the rain, feel its coolness, and even find joy in its rhythm. The rain doesn't change, but you do. Life often throws us into storms we didn't choose. Financial struggles, career setbacks, and relationships that don't go the way we hoped. These moments truly test our resilience. But what if we stopped resisting them? What if, instead of viewing challenges as obstacles, we began to see them as opportunities for growth? In Buddhism, we learn that suffering doesn't come from the events themselves, but from our resistance to them. When we fight reality, we create stress and frustration. But when we lean into acceptance, even the hardest moments become easier to carry. Think of the story of a craftsman who spent months carving a beautiful statue. Just as he finished, an earthquake struck and shattered it into pieces. While others mourned the loss, the craftsman smiled. He gathered the broken parts and rearranged them, creating something entirely new, a mosaic of resilience. That is the heart of loving your fate. When life breaks your plans, you face a choice: resist and cling to what might have been, or embrace the cracks and build something meaningful from them. If financial hardship arises, maybe it's a chance to simplify your life. You might discover that real happiness doesn't come from things, but from deep connections and inner peace. So how can you apply this idea in your daily life? Start by shifting your perspective. When challenges appear, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? Reframe obstacles as chances to build your patience, creativity, or adaptability. Embrace the truth of impermanence. Just like the seasons change and storms eventually pass, so do challenges. When you truly accept this, you begin to move with life instead of against it. Let go of rigid expectations about how things should be. Instead of resisting what you can't control, simplify your desires and focus on what you can do in this moment. The Buddha said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." Loving your fate doesn't mean giving up or falling into despair. It means learning to find beauty in what is, even when it's not what you expected or wanted. Ask yourself, what challenge in my life can I choose to embrace rather than fight? When you stop trying to control every detail, you open up space for gratitude, growth, and unexpected joy. Today, take one small step toward loving your fate. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Find peace not by changing your situation, but by changing the way you look at it. And finally, remember this: you will die. In Buddhist teachings, one of the most powerful reminders is this: do not postpone anything, because tomorrow is not promised. This idea might sound intense, even uncomfortable, but it carries a deep truth that can shift how we live. Many of us move through life as if time is unlimited. We delay meaningful conversations, put off dreams, and assume there will always be more time. But the reality is, none of us know how many days we have left. So imagine waking up today knowing it was your last. What would you do differently? What would you do differently? Who would you reach out to? What words would you speak? And what would you finally stop worrying about? When we reflect deeply, we often realize that many of the things we cling to are just distractions from what truly matters. Remembering that life is short helps us focus on what's most important. The small frustrations, constant worries, and petty concerns begin to fade away. The principle of "remember you will die" isn't meant to create fear or sadness. Instead, it offers a gift: clarity. The Buddha encouraged us to think about mortality not to make us anxious, but to help us recognize how precious each moment is. This awareness gives us the chance to live more fully, more honestly, and more meaningfully, starting right now. Think about the story of a man who spent his whole life chasing success, climbing the corporate ladder, gaining wealth, and collecting achievements. But near the end of his life, he realized something painful. He had overlooked the people who truly mattered. He had missed valuable time with his loved ones. He had rarely expressed his love or gratitude. He had lived as if he had all the time in the world. In those final moments, he didn't wish for more money or status. He wished he had focused on inner peace and meaningful relationships instead. So, how do we take this lesson and apply it to our lives? Start by living with intention and urgency. Don't wait for the perfect time to do something meaningful. The perfect moment may never come. If there's something important on your heart, take that first step today. Prioritize what truly matters. Take time to reflect on your values and spend more meaningful moments with the people you love. Let them know how much you appreciate them and invest in relationships that bring joy and growth. Release the small worries and distractions that don't add real value to your life. Practice gratitude. Each breath, each moment is a precious gift. Appreciate the simple things, the beauty around you, and the chance to be alive today. The Buddha once said, "The trouble is, you think you have time. But time is not guaranteed. It's a gift, and we never know how much we have left." When we remember this, we begin to live with more love and intention. Ask yourself, what is one thing I've been putting off that I can do today? When you let go of the need to be perfect and stop stressing about tomorrow, you begin to truly live in the present. Let go of one small worry and turn your attention to what truly matters. Life's beauty is found in fleeting moments, and in the stillness of now lies a powerful truth. What we cling to often causes our pain, and what we release makes space for peace. Through non-attachment, mindfulness, and acceptance, we learn that true freedom doesn't come from control, it comes from flowing with life. As the Zen saying goes, let go or be dragged. When we let go of rigid expectations, we open ourselves to the endless possibilities that life can offer. Think of a river. It doesn't resist the rocks in its path. Instead, it flows around them, gracefully finding a way forward. We too can navigate life's challenges this way, seeing each obstacle as a chance to grow. Accept that everything is temporary, because in change, there is always the opportunity for transformation. Let go of the pressure to be perfect, and you might realize that peace has always been within you, quietly waiting for space to emerge. Real strength isn't about pushing through with force. It's about moving in harmony with the rhythm of life. By turning inward, forgiving those who have hurt us, and truly appreciating the present moment, we create a life that is both peaceful and full of purpose. Trust that the universe unfolds in its own time and wisdom. As the philosopher Epictetus once said, "Do not seek to have events happen as you wish, but wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will be serene." If these reflections spoke to you, please like and share this video, and share your thoughts in the comments below. For more meaningful insights and peaceful Buddhist wisdom, subscribe to Buddhism Insight. Together, let's walk the path of mindfulness and meaning.